who knows exactly how complicated this will be. Anyway, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smudcast 901. What's the point of hard games anyway? All in capital first letters of the sentence. Question mark at the end. Okay, this is from Game Maker's Toolkit. I think we covered them once before, and we had a mixed reception. They were pretty good, but there were like one little caveat or something. I can't remember what we covered, though.
Are you sure? I think this was a really bad one.
This one was really bad? Okay.
I think Game Maker's Toolkit is completely hollow.
Oh.
That's what I think.
Okay.
I might mix that up with Brown Table.
I can't recall. Either way, the idea of what's the most popular game that just came out, Silksong, I think. And if you're not into side scrollers,
didn't have time.
Yeah, if you're not into side scrollers, no one really cares. But when you talk about side scrollers these days, there's all kinds of genres and levels of difficulty, which are they akin them to Souls-like for the level of difficulty, like with Dead Cells or Hollow Knight or Shovel Knight, or I mean, there's a whole bunch.
Shovel Knight had difficulty. Hollow Knight, I think, is great game. What I mean with overrated is its difficulty. Its difficulty begins in the post game.
Well,
anybody who thinks Hollow Knight is a Dark Souls difficult game before that, and that is the arena bonus content at the end, that this golden stuff. Anything before that is that's your tutorial. That's just fun. Yeah. Walk around and have like relatively or rather simple bosses, really.
Yeah, some games are just straight up puzzle levels, or some games just have levels that are straight up puzzles. Sometimes the boss is the puzzle. Sometimes the Metroidvania element is there, so it's a lot of exploration. But like Cuphead would be in the same category. Super Meat Boy would be on the other end of that spectrum. So there's all kinds of mix of genres with the side scrollers, and it really comes down to level design, progression, and that if it connects with controls and storytelling, then you got a really fun experience. And these are the kinds of games anyone could make. It's 2D essentially, but you can really beef them up. And that's what Silksong is so great, because they put effort into control, into visual, into audio, into the style of art. It's very unique. So I think one that was really weird was like called Rain World. You were like this cat slug creature in this weird.
I never dared. I heard good things.
Yeah, it's like all this results on Steam for reviews are super high, but you have to be within the genre. You have to really like the genre, and I'm a big fan of the genre, but it's not like one of those things I'm always like, oh, I can't wait to play Blasphemous or Celeste or whatever, because there's just it's so involving. It's one of those games you just have to keep going, and if you forget, you're like, oh, I got to go back and play it all over again. So it's not for everyone, but I think a game like, well, Silksong at least is enough to. It's kind of like Castlevania. It's like you keep coming back to Symphony of the Night. You keep coming back to
Metroidvania.
Yeah, the quality is so high. I'm not sure about the music. I can't recall what they did this time around to make it a higher budget or higher production value, but I'm assuming everything's top notch as it was before. So, like with
missing the hype window, and that's why I never stream games.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I never have time when a game comes out.
Like when you look at Shovel Knight, it's so Capcom-ish. It's so colorful and weird and silly. You're like, yeah, that's fine. It's probably super hard as well, but it takes a lot of Twitch investment to play. So I don't have a controller. I don't use a joystick. So I would be like, I don't want to destroy my keyboard. I'm okay.
But then anyone who calls, for example, Metroid a hard game, most of it is just walking through a big labyrinth with barely any enemies in it.
Right.
That's the same for Hollow Knight. That's the same for its successor Silksong. That's the same for the Shantae games. For bloody hell, they're not hard games. They have occasional bosses.
The hardcore players of the Metroid series, even of Prime, they do it for the exploration because there's all these glitches, and they're there to exploit glitches and how to do proper bomb jumps, how to get through the walls. What will that do if you can skip an area? And they don't do it for speed runs. They do it just to see what could happen because they want to explore the world because the world is huge in Prime games, Metroid Prime games. And it's a little different than a 2D side scroller with all the Metroid really. So it's an interesting way because when I was talking to back in college doing game design, there was the few guys who were like really into the glitching games and they wanted to figure out what is that? What is the control? Why is it doing that? And yes, there was some difficulty, but it wasn't like, okay, we can see how the boss AI goes. It's not hard, whatever. It's all about figuring out the secrets behind the game and seeing what happens when you walk too far or do bomb jumps or whatever. Anyway, we're going too far into the topic already. Let's see what this gentleman has to say about, I'm assuming Silksong, but I think he's going to be talking about games in general.
A game that is harder than Limbo.
Okay, sure.
Have you played Limbo?
The real Limbo game or the video game? What are you talking about?
No, the video game Limbo, the
No.
black and white one.
Can't say I have.
That is Limbo is the simplest form of this. It's basically just walk to the right. It has a few puzzles, but mainly it's just walk to the right. And it gets really good. At the end, it even gets a little bit of difficulty, but it's pure atmosphere.
Huh. All right.
This week, the game is all about Hollow Knight Silksong. I won't show any footage beyond Act 1. No spoilers here. But yeah, this is Team Cherry's much anticipated, much hyped sequel to 2017's incredible Hollow Knight. But pretty much the only thing people are talking about with this game is its rather brutal level of difficulty. For context, this is a Metroidvania about winding through an interwoven map, looking for upgrades and secrets.
So, just for clarification, I believe that people say it's difficult. I don't believe it's difficult until I've played it.
Well,
passages. There's
like Dead Cells is one of those games where like one shot you're dead, or one shot or two shots you're dead, whatever the limit is. But that's been around for, since Ghosts and Goblins and.
Yeah, that was just games back then.
Yeah, they were just like you get shot, you're dead, forget it, restart the level.
How many hit points does Mario have?
Yeah. Exactly. So Mario's still, what you have your big mode, your little mode, and then you're dead or whatever.
Yeah, you have one bonus hit point that you can get.
Yeah.
But for Hollow Knight, for example, to train a boss, there was the 7 roly bug things in the palace. I noticed, okay, I need more hit points. I'm still messing this up. I haven't figured out the controls, and I will tell you, for 90% of Hollow Knight, I had on my first playthrough, I had not upgraded the sword because I couldn't find the swordsmith. I had all the upgrade materials. I was playing 90% of the game with the start weapon that just does 1 damage per hit. The next does 2, then 3, then 4. So I was really nailing it with the nail. But the trick I figured out for that boss was then, I have all these charms that give these the blue life, which does not regenerate, that you can't heal, and generally, I found that stupid because you can, as you explore. But then I put everything together and went from, I think, 4 or 5 hit points to the full 10, and thought, hey, since I don't have time to heal anyway in that boss, I get 10 hit points with this. Let's try and learn with that. And that's what I did, and that's how the game gives you options, and I bet Silksong does this too, on how to mitigate where your weaknesses are. But you actually have to play it for that. These games are not for you to beat every boss on the first try, because then it's not a boss. That's just a tutorial. Or a beginner's tutorial. There are also tutorials that teach you new things that you can fail. Anyway.
All right.
Strenuous about that. But along the way, you'll have to go toe-to-toe with a huge cast of terrifying bosses. many of which will put your skills to the test in a punishing war of attrition. Now, the first Hollow Knight was pretty tough at times, but Silksong seems to turn the dial further, with even early and mid-game bosses like the bullying Last Judge at the end of Act 1, requiring dozens of failed attempts as you learn the patterns, safe spots, and phases you must go through in order to win. All of which has left some players feeling dejected and frustrated. Review site VGC gave the game 3 stars out of 5, praising almost every aspect, but trashing it for a level of difficulty that feels demotivating and sadistic.
Okay, so it sounds as if that dude has never played a side-scroller before. They are all brutal. I mean, not every single one is as hard as Silksong, but you learn very quickly what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you learn how to jump and maneuver and dodge or whatever, then it's like, okay, this is the gameplay loop. You have to keep doing that. And if you haven't figured that out, you're going to lose.
And they complained about Hollow Knight at first. They complained about Cuphead like mad.
Yeah.
And of course they complain here because we again are facing the non-gamers posing as game journalists who are neither journalists nor gamers.
And when you go on X and you hear all these people say these things, they're just random. Oh, it's so hard. Oh, I didn't know. Like, yeah, welcome to side-scrollers. This is how it goes.
Are you roboting on me?
And so with all this chatter going on, I thought it might be interesting to talk about the design of difficulty in games through the lens of Silksong, to look at why game designers choose to implement a higher level of challenge, and crucially, how they should go about it. I'm Mark Brown, and this is a GMTK Mini. Okay, so the first question is, why would a game designer choose to make their game hard in the first place? What can you gain?
Okay, this is the wrong question. A game designer makes a game the way they intend to be the way they... It's not like, oh, let's make the boss twice as big with twice as many hit points, and then that will be the general philosophy for like the difficulty setting on all the playthroughs or whatever. They make the game they want to build for themselves. They say, this is good. I like this. Let's crank it up as we go along.
If the game poses no challenge, if you can't fail at all, or you have to go out of your way in order to fail, then it's not a game. It's just a toy. Maybe it's an interactive screensaver. That's a toy. That would be a toy.
If your player character has more maneuverability, speed, and strength, and endurance or whatever, any stat, more than the boss, that's not a game. The boss is always something bigger, faster, stronger, longer range, surprising, whatever. And it's through iterations and failures and attempts of learning patterns that you defeat them. And that's the beauty of it, because one hit you're dead or 2 hits you're dead. And it's Twitch playing to a degree, of course. You have to be aware of timing. But that's the general idea of all of these games. So to say that they're going to make it hard is kind of missing the point. That's like a weird outside of the room. Well, why do you make your games so hard? It's like, we're not. We're making them fun. We like them. Like, it's like, why do you make so much spicy food? It's like, that's what we like. You know, you don't like it, fine, but you know, don't eat our food.
I would say the same for food where you don't use spices, because to make that taste good, you need to actually cook it right and have good ingredients.
That's a whole argument.
And you can taste the actual thing. Like you usually just do that with stuff you get from your own garden because it is absolutely fresh. And basically the moment you take your vegetables off of the plant, out of the ground, they begin to decay, you could say. And
sure.
So the stuff you have in the supermarket, that's been out of the ground for days, if not weeks. So that's basically half decomposed and therefore has less taste. I'm exaggerating, but ever put them next to, get something from the supermarket and something from your garden and eat them next to each other,
Well,
cooking the same way.
buy the cheapest cut of meat you could find, and realize why it's so cheap is because it's hard to chew. So you have to tenderize it, marinate it, slow cook it, chop it up, grind it, whatever works. So you learn very quickly why things cost the way they do, why you have prep methods and recipes and techniques and tools.
And why the working class eats their steak with ketchup.
Maybe. It's
Not because they don't have taste, it's because the cheap steak is hard to eat.
that is, I've never done that, but that is definitely a method, I guess.
By up the challenge? Well, I think there are 3 main reasons to do it. Number 1 is that the harder a challenge is, the more satisfying it feels to...
That is so... I mean, yes, that's not wrong, but that's not why they do it. That's like, what is fun when you play Elden Ring? When you finally beat the guy, you could go, you could take a breath. And you're like, I can't believe I did that. What an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just an after effect. Like it's like it's true, but it's, again, trees and forests are over there, sir.
It. If you breathe, it might barely even register as something that happened. But if you struggle against a boss for an hour, slowly improving your skills, your reflexes and your knowledge with each failed attempt, and then you finally topple that monster, well, that moment of triumph is something you might never forget. That's the idea behind the Dark Souls series. Creator Hidetaka Miyazaki says, I just want as many players as possible to experience the joy that comes from overcoming hardship. And Hollow Knight Silksong certainly plays into this. When I finally beat the last judge, my palms were sweaty, my heart was racing, my eyes were straining from not blinking, and I let out an embarrassing, involuntary noise like ah to mark my victory. You don't get that with an easy game.
Wait, that was actually the last phase, or what? Because that doesn't look hard. Seriously.
Yeah, you run away.
Well, maybe it's a phase transition, but that really doesn't look hard, and I feel falsely advertised here. Anyone who has played Bayonetta 2, on the Balder fight, it took me I think 650 something tries to beat Balder in the final fight against him. He's the actual final boss of the game, not the final boss who comes after him, who's a pushover. That is just so much fun. It's a frame dance where you just act. It doesn't even go through your big brain. It's just your motor cortex, your eyes, your spine, your hands, just acting on their own. It's beautiful. You have to be in the zone. There's no other way to do it. Beautiful. This doesn't look like that.
It looks good, but it's not
Yeah.
super complicated.
Yeah.
Game. The second reason to amp up game's narrative or aesthetic goals. Like, if a game tried to tell you that this kingdom is a place of misery and death, a no-man's zone where hope goes to die.
So visual storytelling or whatever storytelling. Yes, that's true. Stylistically making the macabre-looking Elden Ring-looking monsters look really gross. And then you want like 5 arms. They attack you 5 different times. Like, ooh, yes, that's why designers design things that way. It's like, I want a guy with 3 legs and he's going to run at you really weirdly. It's like, that's the point.
There's also a very strange choice for scene transition.
Yeah.
With the kid blowing into the thing, and then the next one is you look up at the dragon. Just don't.
Then you play it and it's full of enemies who die in a single hit. well, that's going to be pretty dissonant.
No
so
CRT
if you want to
filter.
tell a story about suffering and failure, then the gameplay should reflect that. That's how Celeste works. The game is about hero Madeline stubbornly persisting through hardship and setbacks as she climbs a legendarily high mountain. And so the player must also stubbornly persist through hardship and, well, you get the
So
idea.
she's Meat Boy.
Silksong plays into this.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Celeste is basically in the same vein of Super Meat Boy, but it's very RPG-ish as opposed to Meat Boy, which is just very arcadey.
Yeah, I just lost interest in. I was interested in it, but it was on the waiting for the next sale to just grab it with all the other stuff. And in the meantime, the developer then retroactively decided that the main character was a trans self-insert.
What? Oh.
Yeah, and I thought like, no.
Thanks,
I'll keep my money.
developer. Jeez.
I'll play some other
Yeah.
jump and run.
Is a withered, haunted land. Other characters are seen failing on their pilgrimage to the Citadel. Main character Hornet must grow in strength and wisdom to succeed, and so must you. And the final reason for increasing a game's difficulty is to ensure that the player approaches the game in a certain way.
What? Are you saying as you get to level 2, the level 2 boss should be harder than a level 1 boss?
I mean, I do wish that Shanta and the Seven Sirens was hard and had a difficulty spike. Well, sadly, instead it's just nothing. That was a letter.
Well,
So you can actually fail at these games when you don't give them some difficulty.
yeah, the way that I see it is not, we have to amp up the difficulty. That's sort of a given, but you also have to amp up the concept of what the boss represents. So you can't have a palette swap of the level 1 boss at level 8. You can try, but people will be like, hey, this is just what I played. Oh, they got a new moveset. Ooh, you can get away with that maybe once, but you don't want to do that multiple times. You don't want to do that for you don't want to do it for a final boss of a level. You want to have a new challenge every single time. Like think of Symphony of the Night. You had bosses or mini bosses, and you're like, oh, this is a Sypha, or what? This is like a it was like a body of a woman. No, the upper body of a woman. It had the arms of a lion or something. They had like these.
The Chimera?
Yeah, it was like a chimera. It was this weird.
The cellar?
Yeah, like you're going under the water part, and there's these weird snake creatures trying to hit you underneath, and then you go above that room, and that's where the body is of this snake tendril-like creature, and you're like, oh, that's weird. So that was part of level design, and they threw this sort of locked-in-place creature who was just like sitting there. You're like, that's clever, and it wasn't super hard because at that point you could dodge and you have like some health if you get hit. So that's the kind of concept. So the level design works with the boss. And you saw that with Mega Man. You saw that with all kinds of other games of that same vein. So it's not that it's going to be more difficult. It is based off the design from, I think, his second point, which is, you make this setting, you make the world fit the design. So, or the elements of that setting fit the world. So it doesn't technically have to be harder, but that would be nice.
Yeah. And you can have a wonderful world, but if you just walk through it, and that is Shanta and the Seven Sirens is a perfect example of getting that one aspect wrong. Also that you can't really speedrun it well. The level design is grounded for that, which is another letdown. Like, why do you have your speed dash ability in the game when you can't even utilize it? But the Shantae games always have they have built-in speedrun achievements where you get like, hey, you beat the game within this time at this percentage. Here's a special splash screen at the end, and I got that on my first playthrough. That should not happen.
I was trying to think of
That was for the 100%, by the way.
was it Area of Sorrow or Harmony of Dissonance on the GBA for Castlevania, and you have all these weird combinations of souls that you can combine or use at certain elements of the level design that cause you to like run through water really quickly or freeze the water or fly or teleport a short distance. Like that's what they mean by the Metroidvania element, but there's also parts of that have nothing to do with the, like now that you have a tool to open a door or a key to open a door, this is like, there's a secret over there. I just can't reach it, but I know it's there. And that has...
The main definition is that you have content log by ability progression.
Which is not based off the Metroidvania design. It's just, you happen to kill a certain enemy, they dropped a certain soul, and now you could transform into whatever and fly. You're like, that's cool. And it's not necessary. So that's like the player figuring stuff out as they go, like it's a puzzle. And it's one of those elements that you could say is difficult, but it's like discovering hidden things. And that's the concept of Castlevania. You're this big magical mansion with stupid sirloins locked in blocks of stone or whatever. And there's all this other crazy magical stuff that you discover through exploration. So I would argue exploration is the element of all game design that involve a level, and you crank up the difficulty with what your gameplay allows. So it's not a general philosophy. It's just, if you're making a Metroidvania, this is what you do.
Yeah, and it's great if you have some red herring items and abilities in those things, I would say. Like those transformations you spoke of, that you don't need all of them to reach certain points that are specific, but that you can solve things in different ways, or that some are just there for novelty or quality of life.
Yeah, like
or just the fun of it.
The boots that increase your height by like 2 pixels or something. It's like, what does this do? Nothing. Oh, okay.
Or the cape that is just another color.
Yeah, the 50% transparent cape. You're like, what is this for? I don't know.
It's cool.
And they couldn't do that
really
in the Sega Saturn version because they couldn't do transparency. So they gave you this magical holy cape or something. It was it defended against holy attacks or whatever. It's like, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and that is what makes that whole thing a puzzle, and that the one critique, the big critique I have about Hollow Knight, is that it had all its lore in secret rooms, where you had the big bug NPCs that would give you quests and such.
Oh.
They were in secret rooms, and I think one was even in a secret room behind a secret room. That I'm sorry, that's too much.
Yeah.
Don't hide your main. So like, if you have one or two of these secret guys hiding away because they want to, okay. But if all of them,
yeah,
and therefore all your lore is hidden there, like, no, sorry.
The idea behind
wrong.
Even Symphony of the Night and other Castlevania games is that you attack everything. You always hit the walls, see if anything can be broken and entered into, and that was the general idea. And even then, you missed some walls because you just didn't know to attack the ceiling because you didn't know you could do that. And there's like, you find a new familiar, you find a new piece of armor. Not that you need them. It's just that the idea of the game design is exploration. And that's the concept of this genre of game. And to put difficulty on top of that is just like, okay, you're missing why you make this genre.
Yeah, and maybe you find that thing at a point where it's completely useless to you, but some other player may have found that thing before anything else, and it will actually be useful to that player in this first playthrough.
It's hard to say in the case of Symphony of the Night because you find the second fairy and she's pretty much the same as the first, except she sings a song in the PlayStation, but in the Saturn version she's an attack fairy, I think. I've never really bothered with it because it was so late in the game. And
I'm not even sure I used the fairies in my first playthrough because I think I missed them.
Exactly. That was the thing with Iga. he says he was surprised looking at the stats of all the players over the years. Very few people used the potions, like to increase strength temporarily or whatever, because they all were focused on the pattern of the boss or whatever they were trying to do. But he was like, oh, no one's using the consumable items. It's like, yeah, they don't want to because...
Well, I might need them later.
You might need 99 health potions eventually. Anyway, here's Frog Jupiter for the 2 things there. A hard game a day keeps the game journos at bay.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I know. Let's make only hard games from now on. Make every game as hard as the 80s and 90s, and these fake game journals will give up. They will be so frustrated. I mean, we already know they barely play anything anyway, but they will be so frustrated that they may just despawn.
Someone's asked me about the Archdemon boss fight in Dragon Age Origins. I'm assuming you mean the last boss? Which has all the little... what are those giant crossbows called? Anyway. Yes, I do remember that you were running around a lot, and if you were a mage or an archer, you could at least attack the Archdemon from a distance, because the Archdemon kept moving around, and you could use those giant crossbows if you wanted to, but it was a lot of running around, essentially, if you weren't a mage or an archer. Anyway.
Fury, a game about being patient and observant as you dodge and parry every incoming attack before exploiting a rare opening to deal some damage. The game is designed as a brutal back and forth ballet of defense and offense. But if you could also just run up to the boss, dodge a few simple attacks and then wail on it until it dies, well, you wouldn't have to do any of that stuff I just said, and the game would be pretty dull. So, in Fury, difficulty acts like a teacher, punishing you if you play it wrong, rewarding you if you play it right.
It's not difficulty.
That was the most the basic, like that. Why did you have to say that?
Yeah, it's not difficulty. That is a mechanic of dodging, blocking, riposting, and how that works is how they designed the game. It's not. You could say that's hard or Twitch gaming, but then you're talking about, oh, it's too fast for me. Okay, that's not for you. That's totally fine.
Look, I'm at a loss for words because he said the equivalent of air is the easiest thing to breathe.
Yeah.
Sometimes you breathe it in and then you breathe it out, and it helps you stay alive.
I know.
Why did you write that in your script?
When you go to the ocean, you'll discover the ocean, and it's wet. It's like, really?
No, it makes you wet.
Oh God.
Eat away with simple and repetitive strategies, hard games require you to use every mechanic, every system, every tool, and every inch of the level design.
Or they're easy, and you like to use the mechanics because they showed them to you in a tutorial, and you use them throughout the entire game. And that's just playing the game.
Or I ignore all of that and just do the boss with exactly one move.
Yeah, button mash, fire, 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 dodge, fire, fire, fire.
Oh, I actually have I think I still have the clip of that boss fight on my Twitch channel that I never use, of beating that $7 boss.
Oh.
And the only way I could figure in the beginning was to just use the Shovel Knight move. You know, the jump thing from above?
Yeah.
Attack down, jump, attack down. And just pogo stick them all to death until they were all dead.
Yep.
Because I was scared to get to the floor was lava.
That was the Chun-Li heel stomp move, I think they call it.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And you can do them much easier and quicker, but I just did that because it worked. Because I'm autistic.
Okay.
That's real autism, by the way.
Just do the thing that works where you never get hurt. Like, okay.
Yeah.
That's
the trick to all of these games, and that also goes for you game journalists who are emotional children who refuse to grow up, because we grew up because we played these games as children. The trick is very simple. You beat the boss if you don't die.
Well, I was going to say the people who play Skyrim always join the Thieves Guild because being a stealth archer is the easiest thing. You're far, far away and you launch an arrow and everyone's like, what the hell? And then you kill a guy who has no idea what happened. And you play the whole game that way if you wanted.
Well, of course you can do that too. But the rule still rings true. If you don't die for long enough, the boss gives up.
Okay.
You just need to keep poking the boss.
All right.
Except Rachel.
And song does play into this also. You'll need to learn every boss's patterns, make use of every charm and tool, and understand Hornet's moveset on a deep molecular level.
Oh,
not really.
Molecular level.
Molecular. This is not Bayonetta 2.
This is not biology.
And even that, I did with a fraction of the moveset available.
This is a
Because what you really do is you learn your 2 or 3 core moves, perfect them, and they suffice.
Yeah, you have, even in Mega Man X, you had like the air dashes. That was pretty helpful, but you get them later on. So it's like, yeah, if you wanted to, you don't have to. Like, you don't have to charge up your Buster Shot every time, but it's very helpful. It depends how you want to play. So you don't need to be molecular with these games unless that's the specific technique or mechanic that allows you to be that way, like with like damage types or armor types or whatever. A lot of games have that. You're like, I don't care. Let me hit the damn enemy with my feather.
So I think those are the 3 main reasons to make a game more challenging.
No.
To increase the sense of satisfaction,
He did list 3?
Yeah, he did, and we were laughing at him the entire time.
I only remember the first one.
Well, he just repeated himself. Let me rewind it.
Okay.
its moveset on a deep molecular level. So I think those are the 3 main reasons to make a game more challenging. To increase the sense of satisfaction.
Okay. So super hard means you feel very good after you win.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
make it spongy though.
That's like saying after I eat a meal, I'm gonna be really full. Like, okay, that's great.
Storyline.
To mirror the
story.
The setting of the universe. This is when you make a game, you have this idea in your brain about what you want to make, and you want it to be gritty and dark and this and that, and you think of all the cool things in it, all the stuff, what the trees are going to look like, how the people are going to talk, their language, what the main hero is going to look like, all the little details. Its storyline is very specific, so he's not technically wrong, but no one says storyline when it comes to game design. You have setting, and then the game flows from the world you create, and the design flows from that. Think of a designer or an artist. If you hire that artist, he starts doing concept sketches. That is the visual design, even if it's not a final piece. And you saw that with Mass Effect. You saw that with every amateur game. Like, wow, I'm so inspired. A game developer will take that and run with a level, saying, I thought of insects. I thought of honeycombs. I thought of wasps' nests when I saw your picture of Silksong, and I wanted to make all kinds of spiders and whatever. So I made the levels look like nests. That's what game design is about, which fuels the developer to make a certain thing. So it's not the storyline and its linear progression. Like, to say story is too generic, that's too big. That's everything. It's the setting, it's the character design, it's the mechanic you want to emulate. And then once they make the mechanic, they want to make it better, they want to make it more robust, they want it to evolve and grow and develop into an RPG. So there's a lot going on. Storyline does not cut it, sir.
And to discourage boring playstyles, all of which turns difficult.
That is boring.
Boring.
No one sets out to make a boring game.
But that's the same. Wait. That's the same as the first point.
Well, why?
You feel more rewarding after a challenge that is what makes it not boring.
Why do you open a restaurant? I want people to enjoy boring food. Like, no, you want people to love your food because it's so delicious. Why do you open up a web marketing company? You want to sell marketing to companies and you want them to make money from your marketing. It's like, what's the function of a glass? Well, you could put it on your head and you could fill it with water and then you can try not to spill it. And that's the function of a glass. It's like, okay, you can do that. Or you could use it for its intended purpose. I don't know.
A tool that a game designer can use to create the exact experience they want. But.
Which can be not challenging. There's plenty of not challenging games out there. They're very popular. And they're very rewarding. So the challenge is only one element of being, getting a feedback of positive whatever, of achievement. So why is challenge specific to this genre, sir? What makes it important? That's what we should have picked up upon first, and then started making some sort of philosophy around why we do it that way. This high level thinking is really missing the forest for the trees.
But, big but, a tool can't be used carelessly or thoughtlessly.
Sure.
I mean, it's simple to make
It
a game
can.
really hard. Just put spikes everywhere and send the player back to the beginning of the whole game every time they fail. That's done, but you've now alienated 90% of players. No. Instead, difficulty is a careful balancing.
That's why 99% of players never play Toho.
Well,
But it's a great game.
Players to feel challenged, maybe even frustrated, but we also want them to get that moment of catharsis from winning before they go all the way into rage quit.
You've never played Osu, have you?
no, probably not.
Have you played Osu?
No.
It's hard. I mean, there's the baby difficulty too, but some games, the rage quit category that he's showing, that's the peak gamer category. That is, you can only get there once you are able to lose consecutively, never give up, always get back up, like Mario does in the Super Mario Brothers movie, and just keep going in Zen mode, in the zone, until you get it right. And then you feel good. And that is much more catharsis than where he's stopping.
Yeah, like what we have to do is go back to the four categories of gamers there are for certain games. And this all has to do within the category of the achievers. You could argue killers, but achievers is probably closer to what side-scroller he's referring to, or at least side-scrollers these days. Back in the day, side-scrollers were like kill anything that comes onto the screen as quickly as possible. But now it's like exploration is part of every game, so you could say also explorers are part of that, but it's really about achievements and accomplishing certain things and not dying in the process, because that's what these games do to you if you're not paying attention. So exploration makes you an achiever. And that is how to play properly with the proper mechanics.
If a game feels fair, like you can see how you might learn from your mistakes, you can feel yourself getting better, you blame yourself for slip-ups, and you have ample opportunity to repeat and improve, then the game can keep you in that challenge zone for a long time. And oftentimes, this is where Silksong lands. I spent a long time fighting the last judge, but I was kept going because I could see a path to victory. I was lasting longer and longer, and mistakes were my mistakes. But if the game is bull, then the player is going to dip into frustration and perhaps even rage quit much more quickly. And sadly, Silksong has a fair amount of BS. Things like the long, repetitive journey to the boss fight every time you repeat. Things like unpredictable troll moves. Things like boss encounters that use random patterns. Things like how the ammo for your secondary weapons don't regenerate upon death, so you'll have to farm enemies to top up. All of this stuff this is what pushes players to get mad, to stop playing, to write reviews where you call it sadistic. And that also means it no longer fits one of those design goals from earlier. The first one, where overcoming a tough challenge feels rewarding.
Yeah, but that's very subjective to what you just described. Some people don't like secondary weapons or even using anything outside of the standard move set. And they don't want to. They don't have to. That's what makes it challenging. And you could say, well, then it's too hard. Well, then use the secondary weapons.
Or you haven't even figured out the mechanic, and therefore it is harder for you due to that, but you beat the game eventually anyway. Like when I played through Bayonetta, I really only learned to use dodge offset, which is the core mechanic that the game invented, once I've made it through half of the game on the hardest difficulty, meaning I had already played it 2.5 times, because it was only then that the pressure of the game was hard enough force me to use it, to learn it. So, you can do most of that without these things until you get to the truly challenging parts. I don't think he has actually played a lot of games, does it himself. He just watches people play and theorizes about how things would be or are meant to be in video games. But he doesn't have actual experience himself.
It seems like he's
That's
analyzing.
how it comes across to me.
Yeah, he's analyzing stuff from a very okay, this has some elements. I don't understand the elements. I'm going to give a crack at it. I think it's this. And you're like, okay, did you talk to anyone? Did you discuss this with it? Did you see what other people thought of your ideas before you made a video? Or this is just your first take of finding principles in side scrollers that you find difficult? Because there's plenty of side scrollers that I rage quit from, not because they were inherently hard, but because their design was so strict. And I thought, okay, I want to play as this kind of RPG character, there's all these classes or whatever, and it wouldn't let me do that. So I was like, okay, what's the point then? Why did you design it that way when you specifically wanted the one type to do a certain thing? So those are amateur games, and they're smaller, and that's why they're not as big or popular, because they're neglecting the concepts they invented that are not as permissible as other strategies or whatever. So stuff like that is that's unbalanced. Whereas a game like Silksong is probably so refined to be these 3 or 4 major, ranged weapons, combination attacks, dodging, and riposting probably is the main focus of all these of the combat. So once they balance those out, you can use any of those techniques to succeed. Unless, I don't know, the boss is immune to one certain attack and you have to use the other one. Great. You have 2 options. You could use the one that works, that you're happy with, or the one you're not as good with, but you also can maneuver with, whatever. There's got to be more principles, or at least he's missing the core idea of what makes these games work. Because you can apply challenge to any genre. And it comes down to control.
Either doesn't overcome the challenge at all because they've stopped playing, or they feel a different emotion when they finally win, just sheer relief that they'll never have to do that again. So as game designers, we can't think of difficulty as a single monolithic thing that we can add or remove from our game.
But is he a game designer? Has he designed games?
This does not sound like a game designer would not put music. A game designer would just talk about designing a thing in a very boring, straightforward way. Mark Dara on YouTube. I was at BioWare. This is what happened. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Thanks, Mark.
It's a category that includes a whole catalogue of different tools, each one changing the game and the player's relationship with it in a unique way. But there is another type of tool we can use, and that's giving the player an opportunity to change the difficulty in some way, to decide just how hard or easy the game should be. Perhaps the most obvious version of this is to provide difficulty modes or a
Why did... He's... Okay. It's what I hate about these types of channels. All they do is explain to you what a fork and a knife is.
By the way, you could have a spork if you want. I was like, what?
Yeah, but they talk to adults, but they explain things that are inherently obvious and describable by 5-year-olds. So what they really do is they make very inoffensive videos that you don't actually learn anything from, but that make you feel good because you can agree about everything they say because it's such it is so banal that it is, oh, confirmed knowledge. I knew that. I feel good because this video makes me feel smart.
Yeah.
And then you may even believe that you learned something.
Remember in Devil May Cry 3 when you keep losing, they say, hey, you're losing. Want to decrease the difficulty? You're like, yes. I mean, it asks you nicely, do you want to do that because you keep losing? No shit, there are difficulty modes. We knew about this since the 80s. So this is nothing special.
Yeah. It's a dopamine scam. The video is a dopamine scam.
Yeah.
Probably his entire channel because that's what he does.
I don't know. It's a weird presentation with the music. Oh, I'm going to speak in a soft voice, and then I'm going to bring up an articulation point, and I'm like, okay.
systems that let you modify the game. And Silksong, like the original Hollow Knight, does not include anything like this, which, in some ways, is a shame.
No!
It's good. Play the game as it's intended.
They designed it that way. Too bad, so sad, get good.
Yeah. You know what? You can get? I think Xenoblade Chronicles 2 did that well. I still didn't get around to free. I want free time in my head to actually do that. I want to savor this stuff, even though there's flaws in it. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 did the following. It has a set difficulty until you play through once. And then you get your increased difficulty choices, lower difficulty choices, and which are presets, because you get all these sliders about enrage timers of enemies, hit points, damage done, all of the tons of stuff. And then you can customize your game as you want. You can put it to silly difficulty that is even beyond the preset insane level.
Yeah, and this is specific to Twitch-style games. Like there are all kinds of difficulty levels on the hardcore RPG or the Pathfinder games, for example. And
but the important thing is, sorry, one second. The important thing is, you get that only after you've played through it. You play through it once as it was intended by the developer. And then you can do what you want.
Well, usually...
New Game Plus, what you want.
The games start you off. Do you want a normal difficulty? Do you want a hard? Do you want an easy? That happens at the start. With the style I was referring to with Pathfinder games, they give you like 6 different versions. And within those 6 different versions, you can customize individual elements of... do you want spells to fail more often? Do you want hit points to be higher or lower? Do you want critical hits to be more often? You can customize every single part of the RPG rules of Pathfinder games. So that's expected though because of the detail of the scoring system of Pathfinder. That's like hardcore players want that. Plus they changed the game from including either real time with pause or you could switch to turn-based. So they have all these moving parts that you would have to control anyway. So those are much more complicated systems than, let's say, a Twitch game like Mega Man, where it's like, this is how the level design of Mega Man is so specific. If you were to crank down the difficulty and make like enemies one hit, it'd be boring. It would be silly. There'd be no point for upgrades. There'd be no point to get the robots or the boss's powers. It would be like, yeah, whatever, this is fine, but who cares?
And look, I know I can't speak of Silksong yet. I don't know what the mechanics actually are. I would believe that they reflect a lot of the things in Hollow Knight, maybe improved. The way Hollow Knight did difficulty was through the charms. The charms gave you extra abilities, power-ups, strength versus certain things. It would adapt your abilities towards specific situations. It could give you extra shields, which means you can take more damage. It could give you, if there was a damage boost somewhere, that is the equivalent to enemies having less health, and so on. That is your difficulty adaptation.
Right.
That he didn't think of that.
Having a slider or having an option for difficulty is kind of like, well, you're missing the point of why we have difficulty. It's not just increasing health points or what have you. It's making challenging bosses for a reason.
I mean, and if you have systems like that that I described here, that is the soft version of one, as I said, difficulty levels. It's also the soft versions of cheats in a game. Like that, you have charms that make that increase the rate of money drops. That is akin to a money cheat, but it's scaled. It's in line with the game as well as can be, without being too strong. But it is in that direction, and to call yourself Game Maker's Toolkit and not address this comparison, this similarity, this parallel, that's an abject failure.
Because difficulty is a really subjective thing. What's challenging is different for every player. If you asked me to run a 100-meter dash in, say, less than 12 seconds, that would be really tough, but a plausible challenge to overcome. But it would be...
You know that game?
I've seen it. It's so stupid. I don't know who the hell designed it, but it's...
I managed to walk a couple meters eventually.
Oh, God.
But I did not stay in it to actually go for records. I just figured that, okay, I kind of know how it works now, and that was enough. It's great fun.
Possible for a young child, and completely laughable for Usain Bolt. Difficulty adjustments let everyone find a place where they feel challenged. And also, there's more to Silksong than just beating bosses. This is also a game about untangling an interconnected web of maps and areas, and a game about understanding the deep lore of its storyline. It would be a shame to deny people...
A game where you understand lore? Is there like a question or an exam period where you have to answer questions?
No. What he means is, so what he's going to say next is, it would be a shame if people couldn't see all of your story and world and lore if they just couldn't beat that one boss and would give up on the game. Wouldn't that be a shame? You made all that content. People couldn't experience your whole experience that you made for them.
I'm quite sure most of these games do not have you read stuff if you don't want to. There's no requirement for picking up a book or finding some inscription. The same way Metroid Prime does it. Like, you don't have to scan everything if you don't want to. It helps you.
I can't appreciate the game if I can't see all of it without playing it. Then watch a bloody playthrough by somebody else.
Yeah.
Just because they can't beat the Tunic. My wife loved playing this game and uncovering its many secrets and riddles, but she simply would not have been able to play it without the accessibility adjustments that let you tone down the difficulty of its crushing Souls-like boss battles. But with all that being said, Silksong does have one big...
Yeah, so she's a casual. That's fine. Let her be a casual then.
It's so hard. I want to play the big boy games. Like, okay, we don't care.
Good. You see the the crazy thing is that easy mode wasn't made for children because children were already playing the games. Like you have played Super Mario Land on the Game Boy, right?
On the Game Boy?
The original Game Boy.
Oh, the black and white one?
Yeah, well, black and green.
Okay, sure.
That was a hard game. That's a really hard game. Even when you're grown up, it's because it's the blocks and everything in Mario's. It's really tiny, and there are some really finicky levels in that. Some really strong enemies. It's not easy, but I beat it when I was 6 years old. The thing now is, or the thing in the 90s was, easy mode was not invented for children. It was invented for game journalists in order to get through games faster so that they could see most of the game and write a full review on it. That was a positive advertisement for it. The negative one was that, games journalists aren't good at video games. There was already I think it was on a box of Mystic Quest before... No, not Mystic Quest. A Quest for Glory.
Oh, jeez.
The Quest for Glory before 3. 3 didn't have it on the box, but I think 1 or 2 had it on the box. Written on it, now with easy mode for game journalists or something. And I've been looking for this photograph again, and I haven't found it. It's somewhere on my hard drive. It's I didn't name the file, so it's just a hash, sadly, and so I don't easily find it in this folder of 20,000 images. The thing is, easy mode was made for game journalists, and now we're at the point where all of these non-gamers got into video games because it's the dominant medium. And we have had remakes. This is where I wanted to get to. Like the Command & Conquer Red Alert 1 remake, remaster. And they have renamed the difficulty settings, the difficulty modes, from easy, medium, hard to casual, medium, hard. Because we don't want these really incompetent people to feel bad for playing on easy mode, so we just call it casual. This is how you just pander to the emotional immaturity and let these people never grow up. Because as a little kid, I admit, I played Red Alert 1 on easy because I was scared. But I didn't play it on easy again when I was older. These people, they not only insist to play on easy, they insist to rename it casual. And I just admit through that they are casual gamers because they play on casual. That's it.
Okay, let's keep going. We're almost done.
Sorry.
Big thing that allows you to being able to explore elsewhere. You see, one of the bosses that pushed me into the frustration zone was this guy, the Savage Beastfly. It's not actually a very difficult fight. He has pretty simple patterns to avoid and exploit, but...
Well, if you played like that jump there where he rammed you into the wall, if this is your actual footage, I'm not surprised he gave you trouble.
But he also spawns in low in your health. The overlapping patterns make it almost impossible to predict where will be safe. But instead of deleting the game and cancelling Xbox Game Pass, I decided to just explore somewhere else.
Oh, you didn't even buy the game. You got it on Game Pass.
Yeah. Fine.
It's even more pathetic.
Whatever.
Go away.
He's a casual.
And I found
He's not just a casual, he's a filthy casual.
Okay.
new powers, more charms, I increased my maximum health, and when I finally went back to the Beastfly...
Oh, you mean you played the game? You increased your... I did the thing that causes me to be stronger? Like, okay.
You utilize the things in the game that lower the difficulty for you so that you have an easier time with the boss.
Wow.
Oh, you mean like raid preparation in World of Warcraft or something like that?
Like playing an RPG where you gain levels and get better stats?
Yeah.
Wow.
to allow us more mistakes with the boss and
yeah.
kill the boss faster because we do more damage, which means the same thing as the boss having less health.
So you actually, played an RPG game? You thought, wait, I'm playing an RPG. How do I play the RPG? Oh, I go elsewhere and gain experience point. Okay. Oh, God. This guy.
Defeat it a lot more easily. And Silksong is totally designed around this
It's an RPG, thank you.
idea.
This looks
The game is...
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting here, but this looks really basic.
Yeah.
Lost Kin from the first game looked way more complicated than this.
It's full of completely optional bosses, and there are very few times where a boss acts like a complete bottleneck to progressing further into the game. I'll explore this more fully in the inevitable Boss Keys episode on this game, but basically, you can almost always go somewhere else and come back later. Also, Silksong has a mechanic where you lose your cash, your rosary beads, when you die, and you've got to go back to your cocoon corpse to pick them up. It's a mechanic that, in most games that do this, forces you to keep going back to the same area again and again. But it's not as egregious as other games. Like in Hollow Knight 1, you'd have half...
Hollow Knight 1. Okay. So it's Hollow Knight 2 Silksong?
Yeah.
It's not just Silksong?
Well, it's a Hollow Knight game.
Why would I need... So we all call it Silksong.
Yeah.
Why would we need to call Hollow Knight 1 if we call the other game Silksong? Because it was called Silksong for a decade, and now it appeared out of nowhere, jumped out of its cocoon, and butterflies us.
They don't call it 2, they just call it Hollow Knight Silksong, which is the sequel anyway, so.
It's just Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
Until you find your corpse, not so is to bank your rosary beads. All things that make it okay to leave your cocoon behind and just go somewhere else. And perhaps you could even point to the way ammo works. Like I said before, ammo doesn't regenerate on death, so you'll need to go and kill some enemies to top up your reserves. This breaks the pattern of going back to the boss over and over again, and may encourage you to just do something else. In all of these ways, and more, Silksong is telling you that the solution is almost never to just keep hitting your head against a brick wall until you get through. Instead, if you get stuck, you should go elsewhere. Get more
This is so stupid. Like, think of like Symphony of a Night. When you go up against, I can't remember the name of that lightning boss, that giant creature who's like 3 screens tall, and he has his staff and he just shoots you with lightning the entire time. It's like, oh, I have a circlet that can heal from lightning. Why don't I put that? It's like, oh, that's the puzzle, one of the puzzle pieces of the boss. And because the style of the game is so big, the levels are so big, there's so much to do, there's levels to gain, there's secrets to acquire, that you have to think about it, like, how do I approach this? I have an arsenal of weapons. What do I do? Now, that's specific to Symphony of the Night because you have all these options. But in Silksong's a little bit tighter design. So it's like, okay, what can we do? Go elsewhere. We have 4 other paths or 2 other paths. Go down that route. See what you encounter. This is normal. This has nothing to do with linear design or anything like that. This is how it was designed to be, and it was this way for decades. This is not some hidden concept of designers that no one's thought of before. We have plenty of Metroid's a great example. This is normal. Some enemies spawn different drops. They get different weapons, different items. You try different combinations. You don't keep doing the same thing. This is basic this is not even basic logic. This is like trial and error. Like, what do I do? Well, not the same thing, obviously. Try something new. Okay.
So after he explained to us what a fork and knife are, he's now explaining us what a plate is and a small spoon for the dessert.
And sometimes you could put the fork in your other hand and cut with your dominant one, and it's easier.
Yeah, and he's explaining this to 20-year-olds.
I don't know what this is for. This is the game design allows you not to fight the boss immediately. It's like, no shit.
You can try other things.
There's a ladder over there.
You can just...
Yeah.
Hey, look at what I did. I just ran against the boss until the boss gave up. It works.
I kept playing the game in the other direction, and I got... It's like, wow.
Now you'll find a friend who will help you in battle, or that one special item that will make the boss fight easier. Or maybe you just need a break.
What? That's your solution? You could do all these other things or just relax. Stop.
The game is to relax.
Stop playing the game. What?
I bet you he never did the Path of Pain. Never.
This is so silly. Try these other ideas.
Know, the Path of Pain was an area they added in one of the DLCs that, for one, of course, it's secret, but it's a really, really hard and unnecessary extra parkour that has you die anytime you just twitch one pixel off.
Yeah.
Minor exaggeration. Very, very minor.
Okay.
It's 2 pixels.
We got 30 seconds left, so let's just keep going.
Difficulty is a tool to craft a specific experience.
No.
And this is how you breathe.
do you know what a keyboard is? That's a tool for a game developer to use, and a mouse is a tool, and 3D Studio Max is a tool, and all kinds of editing softwares are tools, and IDEs are tools, and animation like 3D Studio with soft image plugins are tools. There's all kinds of tools. Difficulty is not a tool. Difficulty is a concept. It's an idea.
I'm trying to think of equivalent things, and I just, it's too hard. Maybe a window is a tool to let light into a room without air.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like, it's what the fuck are you?
This is so... It's like game designers who aren't game designers telling other gamers what game design isn't.
Something like that.
Really, difficulty is a huge set of disparate tools, which must be...
What?
Yes?
I don't...
It's disparate.
I understand, but it's a set. Difficulty isn't just a tool. It's a toolbox. It's got a bunch of tools. And you have to
That's a game maker's toolkit.
What is he talking about? It's so stupid. The game is hard. Really, it's a toolbox that designers use. Like, no, it's not. That's an effect of having fun. It's like I'm dribbling a ball in soccer, and it's the effect of trying to get the ball to someone else and dodging and weaving through. What are you talking about?
Look, we must respect his achievement of dealing with the difficulty of YouTube forcing him to stretch a topic like this out over 10 minutes.
That's do not.
For the algorithm.
If you were going to write a video about Silksong's level design and the fact that you don't have to go straight to the boss, you can explore. Fantastic. That's cool to know. Telling me that, yes, you have to get through the boss to progress the main storyline or the main path of the gameplay, but there's other things to do. Very much so in other games as well, in the Metroidvanias vein. Fantastic. Say that. It's not some revolutionary idea. It's not like, oh my God, I suck at Silksong. What do? I can go over there. No kidding. That's like what every kid playing the game would do if they lose the first time. They'll go left instead of right.
Yeah. If as a kid you can't make it through the witch's castle, you go grinding for barrels. It's fun.
All right.
And then your brother just does the section without you.
And finally, or circumvent the difficulty. right now, Silksong is
Yeah, and you don't need difficulty sliders for that. That's the worst option. That's the worst way to handle that.
still sweet spot. It's tough, but I'm surviving. But how about you? Let me know in the comments down below. See you.
I don't think you want our comment.
No, we're good.
You couldn't take it.
This is enough. I'm happy. All right. Do we have any memes? Do we want to go through the memes? This is kind of silly.
Yeah, of course he's silly. Before we go to memes, chat. I have been told that YouTube now only cares about the like button, so we need to farm that. That's all. The thingy button. What is it called?
I thought they liked the comments.
Subscribe. No. Yes, comments and likes, but subscribe doesn't do anything anymore.
Oh, really?
It's really weird. But that's just the last time. It changes every week, so what? There's nothing in memes except for I posted the old video of my first playthrough from Hollow Knight about that one boss. If you want, we can watch that. And then you can all laugh at how bad I was.
Well, check out the memes then, guys. Go to the memes section of the Discord and check it out. Go for it, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And that was my first playthrough. Not the first try, first playthrough.
All right.
Fun, stupid.
Okay, well,
love it. I missed that.
That was... I'm not sure what that was. I'm just like, dude, like, what are you talking about? It's not game design. Go to an actual designer and ask them, how do you make the game fun? Why is Silksong the way it is? Just ask that question, interview the guy, and then that's your answer. Don't do anything else. Do not make some dumb essay about nothing.
Yep. Point being, by the way, why does it load the other one but not the first one? I don't understand Twitch. But Smart, did you buy Nier Automata?
I put it into my... Well, I obviously wishlisted it, and then I put it into my... what is it called? The
basket?
Is it called the basket? I added it to the basket, I guess. I didn't check it out yet. It's still $15. It's a great deal. The thing is, all the DLC is like music. I'm like, I don't want to buy music. I don't
yeah, but you only need the first one, the one with the weird number. That's the post-game content.
The first one? It's all music, though.
No, there's one that isn't.
I'm quite sure it's $100 for music,
thing.
And I'm like, I don't want to spend $100 on music.
No.
Anyway, I'll see if there's a game DLC, but either that, I'm ready to buy it and blow away my next week just playing the game because I hear it's great. As I've heard over the years, it's fantastic. Everyone should play it. Blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah, and if any of you want me to play Silksong and watch that, let me know. I'll need distractions to stay sane. And Hollow Knight helped me with that very much when I played it back then.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for your time. That was a fun little, I guess, non-anime video we covered, but that's okay. Whatever you guys are voting on, we'll do. Keep the session coming. Keep the voting going, and we will talk to you later. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Night.